episode of Ron's Opinion Don't Matter. For those, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Show a brother some love out there, out there. I just appreciate those that coming in. Hopefully, we can have some fun today and enjoy this day. God is good all the time. We got a lot going on, man. We got to pray for these, for all of our American citizens down there in Florida and North Carolina and all the places that was hit by these hurricanes and stuff like that. So we got to pray for them and hopefully, man, God just help bring them through this, man. At the end of the day, help them bring them through this because I'm reading stories and watching videos of different people, man, and complaining about complaining about what's going on and the lack of help that they're getting and stuff like that, man. And it's just a shame that our government is treating its citizens the way it's treating our citizens. What's up, Chris? For real, welcome, man. How are you? And it's just a shame how our government is treating our citizens, man. It just, and so I just pray that these people, everyone down there, man, and just, that God bless them and peace and God helps them to restore their life and their livelihood and the things, you can't get your life back, man. But, sometimes people say, oh, well, at least you're alive, at least you have your life. And I get that. And, that's a beautiful thing. But sometimes people don't realize that when somebody worked hard and they built, they bought a home and car and they established themselves and stuff like that, that is their life to some extent. It's not their actual physical life, but that is their life. They put all of their livelihood in these possessions and things they're accumulating. And that's hard, man. So I understand, yeah, you are alive, man, but it still take a part of your life because all of the years and time and stuff that you spent building and accumulating these things and to watch it just be washed away and you can't do nothing about it, man. That's a hard hurt feeling. So I understand and, and we just pray for those people, man, and for our American citizens that are going through this right now. And hopefully our government is figure out a way to do the right thing and make sure they good. I mean, $750 ain't gonna help nobody be good. And I know they're saying more is coming. But here's the thing. They're not even getting the $750. And this is, I hate to get on this subject this way, but you know what? Whatever. They're saying they're gonna give them $750. But here's the part that bugs me is this is how incompetent this administration is. How y'all going to tell them they got to apply? They got to go online. Listen to how stupid this is. You have to go online and apply to get the $750. In an area where there is no internet, their house is gone. That means whatever was in that house, ID, computers, internet service, everything got washed away. And this is how incompetent these people are. You want them to apply for it online. Make that make sense. Well, you can't be, how stupid can you be when you say something like that? You want them to apply for it online. They don't even have a house. You're right. FEMA's saying they don't have the money, which doesn't make sense to me at all. But, it is what it is. How you don't have the money to take care of your American citizens when you've been spending all this money in Ukraine, all this money to all these other countries doing whatever, and you ain't got no money for American citizens. Make that make sense. I'm not even understanding that part. That don't even make sense to me. But we need to take care of our people, man. It doesn't matter who you are as a politician. Your job as a politician to take care of your people. Now, Ron DeSantis said he was communicating with Joe Biden administration, And he did say that they were trying to do the right thing. And they was, he got the help and he got the things that he needed for his state from the federal government, which is commendable. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to totally dog him out and say, dog the administration out. So he already said that he was getting the help that he needed. But when you start talking about $750, that's a slap in the face. Because I know y'all gave way more money to these illegals that y'all filter over here to try to, and threw them all on the black and Hispanic neighborhoods and said, oh, y'all going to have to deal with them. Why? Because we want to enlarge our voter base. That's the only reason why y'all did it, to try to get, because they want these people to become Democrats and they legally able to vote so y'all can keep your voter base. Because at this point, y'all lost a whole lot on the Democratic side as it comes to the voters. My other thing is this, is that for those that are saying they believe in God or have a relationship with God, how could you support this party at this point? Like, they want to mutilate kids. They want to convert boys into girls. They want to convert girls into boys. Everything that's demonic about the Democratic Party. And yet you got people that say that run to church every Sunday or whatever the days they go to church, say they are Christians, say they love God, and they still want to run out and vote for the party of destruction. Make that make sense. Seriously, make it make sense. You're going to go vote for a party that want to mutilate children, abort children, do all of this transgender mutilation, converting kids, babies, and young teenagers, stuff like that. They haven't even lived their life. They don't even know what they haven't even experienced life yet. And yet these pedophiles, what I'm calling them pedophiles, are manipulating these children into doing stuff to themselves that they can't undo down the road. Now, how does that make sense? How can you possibly be a Christian and support that? Make it make sense. I'm sorry. It doesn't add up. Just for the record, this tea is really good. It doesn't even add up and it doesn't make sense. You're right, Chris, for real. They are. They stuck on the Democratic plantation. At the end of the day, I'm telling you, the Democratic Party worked for Satan. There's no other way to explain all the demonic stuff that they're doing. They're working for Satan because there's no other way to say it. They have no compassion for American citizens. It's almost like they said, I can't stand America and I'm going to do everything I can do to destroy it. That's what it looks like to me, because none of what they do makes sense. Why would you let all of these people run across the border and terrorize this United States for any reason? I don't care. You should scrutinize them when they come over here, and cause all of the problems that they caused, and y'all still did not reverse course. You kept the same course for all that time, and then now we come down to now y'all want to try to secure the border when y'all rather than trying to secure it another other time. Now that y'all got all these millions over here, you want to secure it. Yeah, make that make sense. Seriously, make it make sense. It don't even make sense. It don't. And the one thing I wanted to get into is Kamala Harris. And this so-called now want to act like she's about guns. And she supports guns and the Second Amendment and all that other stuff. She's full of crap. First of all, and I tell people this, and I say it this way for a reason. You are responsible for your own safety. The government's not going to protect you. They're not even going to try. And when stuff happens, as you can see, they're going to abandon you. Now, if you are a gun person that believes in the Second Amendment, and for them that don't, they just say, oh, you know what? Let me tell you something. If this government ever becomes tyrannical, you're going to wish that you had something. Because your physical man ain't going to stop a threat when they come in. And then I hear people say, oh, how you think you're going to go up against the military? You got to understand something about the military. They're American citizens. The military works for the citizens. Just because we have a commander-in-chief doesn't mean that the military is going to obey him when he becomes tyrannical, because according to the military, they're supposed to remove him if he becomes tyrannical and try to weaponize against his own people. The other thing y'all don't realize is that the military are people that got family in this country. They're not going to not protect their family when it comes to that, to government being tyrannical. At that point, the military gonna be like, no, we're not doing that. We're not turning on our own people. That don't even make sense. And you might have a few, but as a whole, nah. The other thing is this: Americans got a lot of guns, and that would be an ugly fight. I mean, I can't imagine it happening, but you never know, anything can happen. But at the end of the day, we're American citizens, and we're supposed to take care of each other. You can't say that you're a child of God and you out here voting for this mess. You out here voting for this stuff that these Democratic Party is doing. They are the ones who are trying to make you accept this transgenderism. They're the ones who are trying to make people accept people's pronouns and stuff. I'm trying to figure out where's all this stuff coming from. Ever since Obama was in office, this stuff just got thrown in the mix. Stuff that's your personal life. That's where that's supposed to be. Government ain't even supposed to be in that type of stuff. That's your personal life. That's it. All of those things, your health issues and stuff, that's your personal life. Your sex behavior, that's your personal life. The government shouldn't be participating in any of that. The government's job is to make sure that stuff don't get into everybody else's life. That's where it's at. That's what the government's supposed to do. They're supposed to protect, make sure, okay, there's something weird about this going on. We need to make sure American citizens don't be attacked by these people, because these people got mental issues. Say what you want to say, they got mental issues. And that's the truth of the matter. Something's wrong. Something's off. Something off. If I just all of a sudden believed that I was a dog, and I start walking up and down the street and walking on my fours and lifting my leg up to pee and doing all the stuff that a dog do, people going to look at me like, what the hell is wrong with him? Why is he doing that? Because something's going to be mentally off with me. That's the truth of the matter. If you're doing something that you are not, if you're functioning outside of your natural, something's off. Really off. And whoever convinced them that, convincing boys that they could be a girl, that's Satan right there lying to you. Oh, you could be anything. You could be a boy if you want to be a boy. No, you can just act like one. You'll never be one. Or you could be a girl if you want to be a girl. No, you can only act like one. You'll never be one. And that's the truth. Because being a boy ain't just what you physically look like. There's more detail to that. You have boy parts that you were born with. You had no choice in the matter of what you became when you was born. Same thing with a girl. They have no choice in the matter of what they was born with. They was born with the girl parts. You was born with the boy parts. I don't care if you chop, slit, cut, redesign. Still doesn't change the fact that you was born a boy, and it don't change the fact that you were born a girl. And that's the truth. The only thing you're doing is destroying yourself faster. That's it. You're destroying yourself faster, because when you start letting these doctors cut up on you and chop on you and stuff like that, you are destroying your health at a rapid rate. That's what's happening. Because I guarantee you that if you go look at the people that have had all this stuff done and look at their health conditions, it's drastic. And that's what they're doing it for. So they can keep them in an unhealthy state and keep making money off of them. Yeah, I agree, Chris, for real. I don't like the fact that they're trying to take parents' right in. First of all, how you going to tell parents they don't have the right to raise their children and decide what's for their children, what's best for their children? Here's the thing about that. The minute that the government start trying to tell the parent, that right there to me is this, and try to control the kid, that's slavery. That looks like slavery to me. Like, wait a minute, how the school going to decide for my kid what's right for my kid? That's my kid. How the school is going to, my thing is, something's very off with that. So that's your kid. You did the work. You put in the work to make this baby. You put in the work to make this child, and then you want to decide how this child get raised. Make that make sense. And this is the problem that I keep saying with the American citizen. We keep looking at government like government's supposed to do all. No, government is not supposed to be involved in that. I don't care what people decided down the road. Government is not supposed to be involved in that. The only way the government should be involved is the child is at danger. And real danger. I'm not talking about spankings and beating and stuff. I'm talking about real danger. I was a child. My parents spanked me. My parents spanked me more than once, more than twice. When I was a kid, the teachers spanked me. The neighbors spanked me. So I don't know where they get this stuff from. And guess what? I wasn't out there disrespecting elders, cussing in front of grown people. I had respect. And I knew right from wrong. I mean, I didn't do all the right things, but I didn't go out there and I wasn't wilding out and disrespecting people's parents and stuff. We had respect. These kids now don't have it. They don't have no respect. They don't have no respect for adults. They see an adult, they don't change their language. They don't say, excuse me. They don't say, I'm sorry. None of that. They just keep rolling with it. That tells me that the parent isn't parenting. Because if I was to cuss as a child in front of an adult, my mother and my father would have tore me up. They would have tore me up. And guess what? I'm okay. I am okay. So when they start, oh, you beating your child, man, I don't believe in abusing children, no. But I think chastising the children is necessary. Children need to be spanked in order to learn. Sometimes you can talk and put them in timeouts and all that other stuff, but there is a point where they need to be chastised. And I got beat with belts. I don't know about nobody else, but I got beat with belts. And guess what? I was okay. Yes, it left marks, but I was okay. Yes, it left scars. I was okay. But that's how you learn. That's how you parent. You don't just let your kid do anything. And you don't check them for some of this stuff. You don't check them for some of the stuff. Like, come on now, really? But at the end of the day, for some reason, the citizens have become cowards to the government. They're afraid of them. That's what's happening. The citizens have become cowards to the government, and they forgot that the government works for you. All of these elected officials work for you. And the minute they become tyrannical and they start using the government, the power to that, when the citizens are supposed to say, no, we're not having that. We're not having it. No. That's why we have a voting system, and that's why we have certain things, and that's why we have, Congress, and we have all of these checks and balances in our system to make sure to try to prevent these things. And it's not 100% guarantee, but it's to try to prevent government from just having the power to just do what they want to do. I'm telling you that if you want a better America, you need less government. That's the reality of it is. The minute when the government starts to get fat and growing, you're the one paying the cost of that. You're the one that your tax dollars is paying the cost of that. So if the government say, oh, we want to do this, that's more tax money. If the government say they want to do that, that's more tax money. So all that money they said they wanted to help out Ukraine and all these other countries, you think they just made that? No, that's your tax dollars. That's your tax money going to wherever they wanted it to go. They wasn't respecting the fact that they should be taking care of American citizens first. They was out there spending all that money on Ukraine and all these other countries. And when it came to American citizens, they didn't even care. They didn't care. They didn't look out for no American citizens whatsoever. I mean, they probably doing more now, but it took almost a week before you all even heard any response from them. Whereas it goes to those hurricanes and the conditions. They out there on the beach and Kamala Harris out there campaigning. And Trump down there offering help, donating, from what I understand, $25 million. So he probably gave more out of his pocket than the government gave out of your tax dollars at that point. I don't know. But he's down there servicing the people as president. I mean, he ain't even president at this point, but he's doing presidential duties. He down there faster than they got down there. I don't even know if they were down there or not. But he was down there doing the job that the president should have been doing. He was down there providing services that the president should be doing, or the vice president. Even if the president was too busy, the vice president, the minute that stuff happened, should have been on the ground. But they wasn't, because they so power hungry. They don't care. They power hungry. All she want to do is to be power hungry, because she's out there campaigning, trying to convince you that she's it. That woman is stupid. Kamala Harris is stupid. When you watch what comes out of her mouth, and when she started, and when she does these soft interviews and stuff like that. Now, the last one she did was a little more, they dug a little bit harder on her than the other ones did. But she's stupid. When I hear what comes out of her mouth, I clearly, when I said a while back in another video, I said stuff be bouncing around all up in her head because she's an airhead. And when you see her talking, when these interviews, that's what you see. She's an airhead. She should not even be vice president. She should not be in charge of anything. She shouldn't even be allowed to drive a car. That's how stupid she is. And that's just my opinion. But that's how dumb I see her. I wouldn't even let her behind her. If I had to get in the car and she was the driver, I'd be like, no, I ain't driving. I'm not getting in the car behind her. I'm not getting in the car while she's driving. Because to me, that's how stupid it is. When the stuff that comes out of her mouth is like, wow, this is our vice president? This is how stupid. When I say, no, they ask her questions. And the questions that they ask, she never answers the question. She go on some story about her, her family was into this business. She said she like, what do you call it? She all for, she aspired to be a small, she liked small businesses or something like that, she said. And I'm laughing. I'm like, what does that have to do with the question that you asked that was asked of you? You asked her about the economy, she gonna tell you about co-hangers. I mean, that's that she said co-hanger, but that's how it goes when you ask her questions. You ask her a question, and she started talking about something totally different. That means she don't even understand what the question was. In her head, it was something else. If you asked her, Kamala Harris, what is 10 times 10? Her answer is going to be, well, when I used to knit clothes, and I knitted them 20 times a day. Some weird stuff's going to come out of her mouth like that. That's exactly how she talks. And that's exactly what comes out of her mouth. Nothing that comes out of her mouth is related to the question that is asked of her. So why in the world would y'all vote for this woman to be president? And look how many things she's so-called flipping on. She was about taking guns. Now all of a sudden she's for the guns. She was about it. She was against fracking. Now all of a sudden she's for fracking. She was against all of this stuff, and now all of a sudden she's for it because she's trying to appeal to a voter base to convince them that she's for this. Now here's a deeper one, and she's talking about Trump talking about giving tax breaks to the billionaires. Okay, word up. What's up? Word up. I'm just messing. What's up? Word up. Anyway, she's talking about giving tax breaks. She's saying Trump wants to give tax breaks to billionaires. Now, here's the thing. If you ever owned a business and you see how much of the government cuts into your profit, you would understand why billionaires aren't making the money that the Democratic Party keep trying to say that they're going to make, that they're making. They keep trying to act like these billionaires are making all this profit. And my thing is this, even if they are, so what? If you were running a company and you took all of the risk in building that company and you're making a profit, that's what you did it for. The government should not be involved in that. As long as you're paying your taxes, the government should not be involved. I don't think billionaires should pay more taxes. Personally, I think they should be lowered their taxes because actually they pay more taxes than the citizens do. But I think that their taxes should be lower because they're the ones providing the jobs. So if they're not making a profit and they're not making a reasonable profit and they're not happy with the performance of the company, at some point they're going to say, I don't want to do this no more. Why? Because the job, it's not worth the money because the government is getting more of my money than I'm getting. Because my thing is this, why would you want the government to tax billionaires more when the government is going to turn around and take that money and waste it somewhere else? They're not going to give it to the citizens. They're not going to do nothing for the citizens. They're going to hand it over to another country. Even if they was able to tax billionaires, all they're going to do is take that money and hand it to another country. It will never make it to American soil. They're not going to spend it. The only time they're going to spend it in America is when it gets close to an election. Then you're going to start seeing stuff getting done. That's the only time you're going to see it. When it starts to get close to the election, they want to act like they did something. Then they'll start fixing the streets and digging up the ground. You start seeing all this stuff happening because they're trying to make it look like they're doing something. In reality, the first 2 to 3 years, they just sucking the money up. Now they got to make it look, oh, look what we did for the infrastructure. Yeah, y'all. My thing is this, y'all don't even change the stuff to how y'all do it. Y'all do it the same way every time. You don't even change it. You do it the same way every time. Every time you see the same routine and you don't see nothing different. The only time I seen something different is when Trump was in office. Because it was good up until the end. And it didn't even, I was like, wow, this, and you don't realize it until it was gone. And once it was gone, he was like, man, we need that back. Because my thing is this, I don't want the government to get more money if y'all that irresponsible with it. And you know, and it's proof, FEMA is proof that the government is irresponsible. As soon as a tragedy happened, they had nothing in the kitty for American citizens. As soon as something bad happened, they had nothing in the kitty. Make that make sense. Make it make sense. As soon as the bad, so if they cared that much for American citizens, if they cared that much about American citizens, they would have had money stored up for American citizens. But they don't, because they don't care. We should not be in the trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. And if they that irresponsible, why in the world would we trust them with more? Why would you even want to give them more? I don't care who pockets is coming out of. These irresponsible fools don't deserve no more money to work with. They need less money. We need to teach them how to budget and really actually stick to a budget. And that's the truth of the matter. We need to teach them how to budget and how to stick to a budget. So we need to cut the fat, and all the money the government is getting, it needs to be cut down to a minimum. And that money needs to start going back into the citizen hand and let the citizens decide what they want to do with their money. Because the government has been very irresponsible with it. They've been spending money. How you in trillions and trillions of dollars of debt, and then as soon as something like this happens, you don't have money for your citizens. Make that make sense. How you don't have money for your citizens. FEMA was set up for us, from what I understand, in tragedy. And here we don't have the necessary resources to take care of our very own citizens. That is so wrong. Thank you. Talk that talk. You right, word up. Talk that talk. My thing is this, is that we really have to pray for these people, pray for everyone that's dealing with this, because it's just hard. It's hard. It's a hard situation. It's hard. It's hard to watch. It's hard to hear the stories and read the videos. I mean, listen to the videos and stuff. It's hard. It's just sad. It's just sad to see it, and it's sad to see what the response that the government has done when it comes to American citizens. But yet, you know, my thing is this, they was all making big deal out of, oh, we need a border bill, we need a border bill. Well, why you guys, y'all know how to move and allocate money for everything y'all want, but y'all don't know how to move and allocate money for American citizens when it come time to do it. And y'all want, and so y'all saying that y'all want to tax billionaires to give the government more money to waste on people that's not going to be you. Make that make sense. See, I don't care if billionaires don't pay, if they pay a lower percentage in taxes, because most of us are working for billionaires. And the thing of it is that if they're making a profit, they're pretty much guaranteed that you're going to have a long-term job. But if the government's cutting into their profit, they're going to end up shutting down. There won't be no job. So you need to leave the billionaires alone. That's it. Leave them alone. And the other thing is this, it's not in the best interest of any company to price gouge. That's why I know she's full of crap. That's why we have a system set up the way it is. Consumers dictate whether they're going to spend the money or not. In other words, if I'm selling something and my prices are too high and someone else is selling the same thing and their price is lower than mine, the competition comes when the consumers say, well, I'm going to go over there because it's cheaper. And then you have to even compete by lowering your price competitively or undercutting them. And then they'll start coming to see you. And then that person's going to have to say, oh, well, I'm undercutting them. Until it gets down to the point where they say we can't do it no more because at that point we ain't going to make no money. You see how that's how it really works. So when you start talking about these companies like price gouging and they making no, they not. I mean, there might be a handful of them out there somewhere doing it, but that's not a major issue. Consumers control that because Kmart is not like here no more. Kmart went out of business. We got Walmart. Walmart was cheaper than Kmart. See what happened to Kmart? At some point, they couldn't compete because Walmart was cheaper. Prices were just getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. So therefore, Kmart's no longer there. The consumers did that because the consumers stopped going to Kmart. And then and Walmart was getting all the business. Same thing when it comes to Home Depot. We had Channels and we had Heckingers and then Home Depot and you had Lowe's. Now what happened was Home Depot was running their business at a cheaper rate, killing everybody. All these other businesses went out of business. Why? Because this company was selling everything they do. Now there was no competition. Who did that? The consumers did that. Now another company comes along and start undercutting Home Depot. Guess what's going to happen to Home Depot? There's two things in business that you provide. Product and great service. And if they can't compete with that, you're going to be out of business. Two things that makes a business great. It might be a little more, but service, good prices, and service. So it is not in the best interest of any company to price gouge. It's not. Because what's the only way they're able to price gouge is once they can monopolize. Now, that's where the government is supposed to come in at. To keep companies from monopolizing. See, if they monopolize, then they're able to control the price because there is no competition. But let me ask you a question. When has this administration or any administration has stopped companies from monopolizing? When you start seeing it's only two places to get your product from, now there's only one place to get your product from, that's monopolizing. And so the government is supposed to step in and say, no, you guys are controlling too much of the industry. Look at all of the control that BlackRock has. Did they stop that? Did the Biden administration right now try to put a stop to BlackRock's control? Nope. Why? They're not going to. Why? You know why they ain't going to do it? Because these billionaires are funding their campaign, just like Pfizer did. Pfizer was funding Joe Biden campaign, and that's why he was telling you to get that jab, and he had to tell you to get that jab in order for them to keep funding him that money. And once he got all that money for his campaign, then they was like, okay, now when everybody was getting the jab, he took the taxpayers' money and started giving it to Pfizer, and that's why Pfizer made $5 billion in profit because of Joe Biden and them forcing everybody to take that jab. They wasn't free. The taxpayers, it got paid through taxpayers' money. And that's how they did it. And they do it all the time. And this is the reason why they don't want Trump in office, because Trump won't do their bidding for them. See, they can't go to Trump and say, we want you to do this so that we can make this. And he's like, no, we're not doing that because that's not good for the American citizens. But now they're putting out all in. So Trump is this and Trump is that and Trump is this. And they put us, that's why they didn't want him back in office, because he wasn't doing their bidding for him. This is the first billionaire that we had that wasn't doing the bidding for the other billionaires. He didn't care. He was losing money while he was in office, still not doing their bidding. Nope, I ain't doing that. He was the first president that I ever seen that literally was trying to put the money back into American citizens' hands and stop wasting it on government. Doesn't matter that the deficit went up. I seen what he was doing. And at some point, it would have started coming down. It would have came down rapidly. He already had the plan, but we voted. A lot of people voted the other way, and they stole the election, and therefore he didn't get a chance to finish it. But we're going to see when he get back in office how that thing work out. Because if he get time to play it out, United States deficit going to drop a lot. I can tell you that because I see what he's going to do. I ain't talking about it because I don't want nobody to get out and say, oh, this is what we're going to do to bring down the deficit. I already know what Trump going to do. He spilled the beans, but I don't think a lot of people caught it. But I caught it, and I know what he's going to do. And if he go back to doing what he said he's going to do, the United States deficit going to come down a lot. A whole lot. And we're going to be surprised how far it's come down. And the other thing that's going to help bring it down is when he get, and then they start auditing the government, Because I guarantee you that the government is spending way too much money on stuff that's not necessary. And that's why I'm glad he put bringing in Elon Musk to audit the government to make sure that we are getting our tax dollars worth. And we're not wasting money on stuff that we don't need to be wasting money on. So my thing is this, I'm watching the people that's in his circle, and Trump is building a dream team. Basically, he's getting the best of the best and put him in a circle. Now, I'm reading an article earlier today, the CEO of Robinhood, investment platform. They're talking with, Trump's talking with him now too. So I know he's building something behind the scenes. And I like what I'm seeing. Now, I don't know what position that he wants to give this guy, give him or bring him into, but the CEO of Robinhood, he's trying to bring him in on some form of helping Trump do this thing. Because I think what Trump wants to do is to expedite the results as fast as possible. And I think that's what he's trying to do. So he's saying, okay, I can't do it all by myself. So I need to build a strong, solid team around the health aspect, which is RFK, the audit aspect, which is Elon Musk, the financial aspect, which is the guy with the CEO of Robinhood, also Trump, because Trump's very good at, he knows how to move money and he knows everything about finance and stuff like that. And, Chelsea, I think her name is, and all of these people that he's putting around. And my thing is this, what people don't realize is the people that he's putting around him is going to hold him accountable. They're going to hold him accountable. And that's what they're not paying attention to. He's putting people around him. J.D. Vance is not a soft dude that's not going to hold you accountable. And I'm not saying that they need to hold him accountable, because I think Trump wholeheartedly wants to do the right thing by his citizens. But at the same time, he's only one person. So you got to build around you, and that he got strong-minded people that's just not going to, even with him, it's not going to let him do what he think is right. And if they see something wrong with it, they're going to call him on and say, look, maybe this is not the good idea. We need to reconsider this one. If they think he's making a decision that is not good for America. Kamala Harris didn't have that in her. Joe Biden got her, and she played ball the whole way. She never fought against anything that he decided to do. And any CEO, don't want yes people around them. They don't want a bunch of yes people around them, because if you have a bunch of yes people around you, you just saying yes because I'm in charge. I don't want that. I want people around me that's going to check me and make sure that they're telling me the right thing and not because they might see something I don't see. And then they open my eyes to something. But if you're just a yes person through it all, that's a problem. So I like it. I like the whole system that he's putting around so far. So he won this election, which I believe he is, no doubt. But I know the Democratic Party can cheat. So I can't just say 100%, because there's a 10% chance that I already see it cheating. We already know down in Texas, they got rid of over 1 million votes because there was voting illegally. But see, the thing about it is that's Texas. Texas has a government that want to do things the right way. But when you talk about California with Gavin Newsom, that's different. He want to do it that way because he's a crook. So that's different. The Supreme Court's going to have to jump in and actually scrutinize what's going on over in California, because I already know they're going to allow it. Same thing in the city of Philadelphia. They're going to allow it. They're going to allow the cheating. I'm from Philly, so I already know. They're going to allow the cheating because they crooks. The politicians in Philadelphia and these organizations are all crooks. So they're going to allow the cheating. And that's the only way that Joe Biden won last year. He didn't win by vote, because there's no way in the world that Joe Biden got 81 million votes. I guarantee you that 20 million of those votes was fake. It wasn't real. Because there's no way in the world he got more votes than Obama. There's no way in the world he got more votes than Trump. Joe Biden is not more popular than Trump. He's not more popular than Obama. He's not more popular than Hillary. No way. Joe Biden's a moron. So we know there's those fake votes. I know for a fact they fake votes. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen the evidence of it. There's a whole lot of evidence. People still want to deny it, but there's a whole lot of evidence. Because some people like to be lied to. They rather be lied to. And it's easier for them to be lied to than to be faced with the truth. And that's the truth. I don't want to be faced with the truth, because if I'm faced with the truth, that means you poured one on me and I didn't see it. So I'd rather you keep lying to me or believe the lie, because it's easier for me to believe that lie. I don't want to know the truth. I want to keep believing the lie. We all seen it, and I'm not saying every single person, but I've seen it, and a lot of people seen it. We've seen what they did to steal this election. We know it. What they did to steal that election. And they keep bringing up January 6th, and ain't nobody talk about January 6th but the politicians. And when you look at the video of January 6th, and when you look inside, when they was walking inside the Capitol, they wasn't tearing up anything. It looked like they was on a tour just dressed up in Halloween costume, because they was walking to, oh, this is this and this is that. They nothing inside that Capitol other than a window got broken. Everything inside there is exactly the way it was. They didn't disface anything, graffiti on nothing. So where was the insurrection? My thing is this, is that I didn't see nothing wrong with it, because they had heart. Truth be told, they had heart. But nobody put Nancy and Maxine Waters and all of them in jail for the insurrections that they caused. Black Lives Matter, none of them went to jail for the insurrection that they caused, because they caused way more damage, by far more damage than anybody else. All of them should be sitting in prison, because they definitely caused an insurrection. In the city of Philadelphia, in the city of Chicago, in Los Angeles, and all around the country, they caused an insurrection by pushing the people, by getting people emotionally riled up to tear it up, and they tell them, I'll go out there and tear it up. And none of them went to jail for that. Make that make sense. Yeah, okay. But, it is what it is. But I'm not going to hold y'all too long. I just wanted to, voice my opinion on that. Y'all know Ron's opinion don't matter. It really don't. But I just wanted to voice my opinion on that. We're getting closer and closer to this election. And, I can't wait till this is over with. I really can't. I just can't wait till we get past this election and we can move on from the nightmare that we all living in right now. And it just keeps getting worse. And it just keeps getting worse. It's like, man, the more days get, the closer it gets to election, it seems like the worse things get. And you just look and you say, it can't get no worse than this. And then something comes along and it gets worse than that. But, like I say, God is good. And if you're on this live, share these videos, like, subscribe. Share these videos with everybody you know. I appreciate it. I thank you guys for being on there. And like I said before, if you don't have Christ in your life, any and everything I said don't mean nothing. Jesus is the truth, the way, and the life. And without him, we are all nothing. And that's the truth of the matter. If you say you walk with God and you love Christ, I don't think you can vote Democratic anymore. Because at this point, you're basically voting Satan in power, because everything that they're doing at this point is demonic and evil. And I'm not saying that there is no imperfections in the Republican side or but nothing that I see on the Republican side even remotely comes close to this. They're not for mutilating children. They're not for all this killing babies in the 9 months. And they're not for none of that. They're not for destruction of America. They're not for open borders. They're not for none of that stuff. Mutilating children and all this transgenderism and sex changes and stuff like that. How can you vote for a party that's okay with that and still say you believe in God? No, you don't. That means you have never read the Bible. Because right now we are watching Sodom and Gomorrah with our eyes. And our government is in cahoots with it. Make that make sense. So if you say you walk with God, the first thing you need to do is say, I'm not voting for that. I'm voting against that. And I'm voting for the person Which at the end of the day, I see Trump reading the Bible. I see Trump talking about Christ. I see Trump talking about God. And I'm not saying he's the deepest person in the world, but at least he respects God enough to mention his name and believe in him enough to actually say it and be bold enough to say it. You don't hear nothing about God come out of none of the Democratic Party ever. And yet they want you to vote for him. They don't respect your God because they don't believe in him. And that's the truth of the matter. They don't believe in your God. That's why all of the behaviors that they introducing and they trying to push, they okay with it because they are against your God. They work for Satan and they trying to insult your beliefs and they trying to insult your God and they trying to insult what the standard that God set for man to live by. They're not trying to do anything but that. They're evil. Take it for what it's worth. They're evil. And like I said, if you don't have Christ in your life, I pray that you get him there. Because he's a life changer. He loves you with everything that's in him. He died on that cross. Why? So that you can restore the relationship back to God. And some people say, oh, well, I don't believe all that. You don't have to believe it. But I'm going to be honest with you. It's the truth. And it's real. Christ is real. As real as me sitting here talking. More real than I could ever even think to be. Christ is real. And he loves you. And what he did on that cross wasn't just an event. It was a life changer. It was for you, it was for me, and it was for every sinner in this world that know that they're a sinner. And we all need God. We all need Christ. At the end of the day, we all need him. And I'm going to get off this live, and I thank y'all for rocking with a brother. I thank y'all for chilling with a brother. I thank y'all for hanging out with a brother. And I will be back live Sunday at 11:30, and I appreciate everyone that was here. God bless you. Good night.